Waggoner's Walk is something I became very curious about. I found out about this randomly, I think through one of the Belsize Park groups I'm part of, because this is a radio play that was set in Belsize Park in Hampstead, and I live there, and I am quite a fan of radio dramas. I don't listen to enough of them, always open to suggestions, but I do like the concept. I like the fact that it's the excitement of a TV drama, but you can listen to it while you're pottering around the house doing other things because you don't need the visual element. And I thought, well, I obviously need to check this out. Now, there's a good thing about that and a bad thing. The good thing is that some kind person did decide to upload the first episode to YouTube. There are also a couple of other episodes dotted about here and there, but there are 2,824 episodes, according to Wikipedia. So I was a little bit disappointed to learn that I wouldn't be able to just binge watch the entire show, because the majority of them, as far as I can tell, are not available online. But if you like radio dramas, and you like Hampstead, which I'm hoping you do, you may actually want to check out at least the first episode, and if you enjoy it, some of the others. I've only listened to the first episode so far, so this is my initial opinion and thoughts of whether or not I would continue it were the next episode available. And I actually really want to find out what happened. I will, towards the end of this discussion, tell you what happened at the end of this first episode, because it's so dramatic. I mean, it's not. It's the exact kind of drama you would expect from a radio play set in Hampstead. But it's gripping, and I want to know what happens next. So if anybody does know what happened next, please feel free to tell me. But Waggoner's Walk was released or aired, broadcast on BBC Radio 2 from 1969 to 1980. The episodes were only 15 minutes long. I think they were on every weekday, which explains why there are nearly 3,000 episodes. It was created by Jill Hyem and Alan Downer, and Waggoner's Walk is a fictitious cul-de-sac that doesn't exist, but you can pretty much plonk it in any area of Hampstead and it would make sense. And basically it's about these individuals who live in Hampstead and the things that they get up to, as far as I can tell. I don't think there's a particular recurring theme other than just the lives of Hampstead residents. We do have quite a mixed bag of individuals, of different characters. We have, it's largely centred around number one, Waggoner's Walk, which is a townhouse divided into different flats, which is pretty typical of Hampstead. Hampstead comprises, if you don't know, it's one of the most affluent areas in London, and if I do say so, and the properties are either gorgeous Victorian Edwardian townhouses that have been converted into flats or studio properties, or they are large, expensive properties that you could only ever dream of affording. Needless to say, I do not live in the latter kind of property. But it makes perfect sense that they set it in a townhouse with different residents on each floor. I think that's very relatable. Obviously gives you a great setup for having different kinds of personalities in the one location. It makes it very easy for them to constantly interact and speak with each other. Most radio dramas like this, soap operas, they're set on a street or similar where the neighbours often frequent one another's habitats. And we have different individuals living in the house. And in this first episode, one of the residents upstairs receives a picture frame from their aunt. And this individual is not in to receive it, so the downstairs neighbours take it in, and there's this very hilarious moment. And when I say it's funny, it's more eye-rolling, cheesy. If this is their biggest problems, they've got life pretty sweet kind of comedy. But, you know, the postman asks them to sign for it on behalf of their neighbour, and then before he's signing for the frame, and the next thing he knows, the postman's buggered off and is not going to actually help him carry the frame upstairs for the neighbour who is not yet in. And I just thought that that was typical and actually much better service than most parcel providers give today. But long story short, this frame is going to be taken to a shop that's described as being tucked away in the village, in Hampstead Village. And there's this beautiful description one of the characters gives of how this shop needs a lick of paint and is kind of hidden behind its cobwebs. You wouldn't notice it unless you were looking for it. And you can definitely kind of pinpoint where you think that would be located. It's not given an exact location. And then something dramatic happens at the end, which I will explain in a moment. And it ended, and I could just hear the EastEnders duffs in my head. Oh no, that's tragic. How could that possibly have happened? What happened next? I kind of desperately want to know. So if anybody happens to remember this and knows what happened, if you know where I can listen to the next episode, please tell me. It's gripping, not in a gritty crime drama kind of way, but in a this is very easy listening, it's very cheesy, it's a great way to escape. The characters so far seem quite likeable. I very quickly got an understanding of the dynamics of who lived upstairs, who lived downstairs. I haven't yet envisioned how many floors there are. I would assume, just based on the properties in Hampstad, that it's either going to be 3 floors, or it could be, well, to be fair, it could be up to 5 floors if you include the basement and the attic. So I'm not sure how many recurring characters in this number 1 Waggoners Walk we have. And to be honest, I guess it doesn't really matter. I shouldn't really bother trying to work it out because I haven't got any more episodes to listen to. Part of me's thinking, well, I'll just watch the smattering that are on YouTube. There are some random episodes here and there. But I kind of want to hold out a bit, just in case I can do a bit more digging and find the second episode and I can watch them in a bit more of a sequence. So I think I'll hold off for a bit, but probably in a few months' time, once I remember to come back to this, I might just relent and watch the other episodes that are available. But I would love to know. I guess even if I will ever find the second episode, still please feel free to tell me what did happen. So the spoiler. This is a spoiler, but I'm going to tell you what happens at the end of this first episode, as I think it's a really good indicator of the level of drama we're dealing with. So as I said, the resident upstairs who received this photo frame from around, she followed her friends or her flatmates or whatever's directions. She went to this little shop in the village that she hadn't seen before. She gave the frame to a young man who was there working, and off she went. And then later, her friend comes back and says, I just went into the frame shop. They said they didn't receive your frame, and they don't have a young man working there. Dun dun dun. Which shop did she go into? Who was the young man? And where is this frame? Find out in part 2. I wish I could. I really wish I knew what happened. I know it's such a stupid thing to get obsessed about. And obviously it's not quite as shocking as, you ain't my mother. Yes, I am. We're not dealing with EastEnders here. But for a relaxing, mid-afternoon, Hampstead set radio drama, it's exactly what I would have expected. It's the level of intensity that I can deal with. I really want to know where that photo frame went, or that picture frame. Where did she put it? If anybody knows, please tell me, but I will do my best to find the second episode. Waggoners Walk. I'm pleased I've discovered its existence because I think so far it's a beautiful thing. I only hope that one day I can find more of it. If it sounds like your kind of thing, or you just want to check it out of curiosity, head to YouTube. I will put it in the link to the YouTube video in the description. I definitely thank wholeheartedly the individual who uploaded that, and also the individual who posted it in the Belsize Park group, because I otherwise never would have heard of it, despite the fact that there were nearly 3,000 episodes, quarter of an hour each. We're talking a lot. I'm trying to do that mental math. We're talking about 700, 800 hours of my life. Maybe one day I'll get to see it, or hear it. Definitely check it out if you think it's something you'd be interested in. Waggoner's Walk is something that could very quickly become an addiction, if only I had the chance.